we have to do it
before that and Blackboard it, yes.
Okay.
Every one of those is linked right now.
Okay.
And you could start any one of them right now. I'm sorry, I cut you off, Sumi. Go ahead.
No, but you're not going to do like any lesson on them.
It'll be embedded from place to place. Like that first project, it'll be embedded in Wednesday's talk with Equation Bootcamp. There'll be some stuff in there. But they really are designed to be standalone, teach at your own pace kind of things.
Okay.
Yeah, they're designed to float with you guys and your speeds of learning. Honestly, they are. So, that makes sense? Yeah. Great question. The projects are, yeah. Think of them as, Math 105 runs the risk of feeling disconnected because there's so many disparate topics. Because I've designed the course around A, getting you ready for a stat class, and B, I built the door in our chicken coop last term. I put triangular reinforcements in it, and I suddenly realized, I'm like, man, I put the picture up, I was telling the kids about it, and half the class was like, why would you put triangular reinforcements on a door? And I'm like, oh my God. Why would you not? Unless you want to rebuild the damn door in 5 minutes. And that's when I realized, I'm like, that needs to be in Math 105. You know, like, how many of you are going to build a door in a shed, or in a fence, or in a chicken coop? How many of you are going to do that? Probably a bunch of you before you die. Right? At some point in your life, you're going to build a door for something. It might be for your kid's playroom, it might be for anything. But like little things like that, you might run the risk of seeming disconnected. Because I'm talking about a chicken coop, I was just talking about rock climbing the pyramids of Giza, then I'm talking about speed on a bike, I'm talking about my bike commuting, like this guy's... But it's all bound by how these things come together. That's why the projects are self-paced, because they do tie to class when they can, but sometimes they just don't. They're their own little islands of information. And they are self-paced, they're all ready to go. They're already ready to go, you guys can start hammering away at any time. Cool? You submit them on their due dates, or before that due date. So when it says this project is due week 10, by class, it has to be in before 8/15, week 10, submitted. Now, I don't even think the Blackboard link is up for that one yet. But that doesn't mean you can't start working on it. That's why I put it out here. You click on that, it opens up. And you can start working on your computer in Excel to create those graphs. And just keep saving it. And then when the final link opens up, you submit it. I haven't quite figured out how to sync those up yet, because I just started using Blackboard. It's kind of a new thing to me. Great question, Sumi. Thank you for that one. I appreciate it. Any other questions on projects? They're just like quizzes on steroids. You don't think about it like that, I guess. Kind of. That's a terrible analogy, maybe. All right, exams. Finally, exams. So this is, again, not like your normal exam. You don't drink a bunch of coffee, get panicked, and sit in here for 2 hours and take an exam. This is just a collection, if you will, of quizzes. It's more or less basically a collection of quizzes. The reason I make the exams is very often, I call it a collection of quizzes. It really isn't. It's usually 2 or 3 problems that are broken down into lots of subparts. So you might have 25 points on grade, 10 points on linear modeling, 35 points on quadratic modeling. I was watching my son play Angry Birds once, and I'm like, that would be a great math problem. So I made a problem up about Angry Birds, but that gets broken down in a lot of subproblems, all tied back to quadratic modeling. So what these exams become are collections of these topics in one place. That's why I said, if there's a certain topic you can't stand, you can skip the quizzes on it, I'll still get you on the exams. I have to make sure I assess you on these topics. This is where I guarantee that I assess you on the topics, is on the exams. That make sense? Yeah. So there's only 2 of them. There's one due in week 5, and there's one due during that exam week. But they're the same as projects. You submit them before class starts that day. So week 5 on Monday, I think it's due on Monday, week 5, you'll submit it before 8:15 on that Monday, or Wednesday, whatever day it is, I forget what day it is. The due date is listed, go ahead. Just wait, Matt. Jesse, sorry, go ahead. I was going to say Josh, but Josh is back.
Can you do those at a time as well?
You can. Great question, Jesse. The great question about that, the only trick is right now, at least, they're not hyperlinked yet, because I haven't made them yet. I try to make them timely. There's exam number 1 right here. So it's not hyperlinked yet. It will be hyperlinked by week 3, if not earlier. So you can totally get in there and start working on those right away.
So that final week, you could potentially skip out on?
You can't. There's an administrative reason you can't skip out. You will not be here for 2 hours. I guarantee you that. Okay. I guarantee you won't be here for 2 hours that last week. But I have to have you. We'll talk more about that as it gets closer. But yeah, it's not going to be like your normal final exam where you sit in here and sweat bullets for 2 hours. You'll do this outside of class just like the first exam. With friends, submit your own work, of course, but with friends, getting stuff done. That makes sense? Hopefully. Ask me if it doesn't. Ask me questions if it doesn't make sense. Coming together rules.
So midterms and finals are not an in-class.
No, nothing is in class except for the in-class quizzes, man.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's not usual. I understand that. It's not normal. It's not a normal way. I think it's a better way than normal. But it's something you have to get used to, but I think you'll be pleasantly used to it by the end of class. And I think it's kind of the way a lot of stuff is shifting. It's kind of hard being one of the first to try something because you're always being told by your colleagues it's the wrong way. And I just keep ignoring it. So. You'll get used to it, I promise. I promise you'll get used to it. I do have